Alright guys, today we have a different type of video. A possible release schedule maximizing sales for upcoming games on the Switch 2, with the Hyrule Warriors sequel, Metroid Prime 4, and 3D Mario being a part of all of that. While many YouTubers have given their 2 cents and perhaps more on this subject, I think it's my turn to present an idea. I believe that I do have one of the best case scenarios for a successful Switch 2 launch, led by the next 3D Mario and then followed by Metroid Prime 4, as well as inserting multiple Zelda games such as the one that I mentioned. So this all started to run in my mind while I was thinking about how Nintendo could handle upcoming Zelda releases. If you watched any of my recent videos, I presented the idea that I believe wholeheartedly that we could get a Tears of the Kingdom version of Hyrule Warriors spin-off, being a sequel to Age of Calamity. But of course, I thought, when would that be released? This led me into thinking about the next 3D Zelda, remake or not, that must be necessary to come early in the Switch 2's release schedule. I then came down to this conclusion. Nintendo likes to use a certain philosophy nowadays of fully going against oversaturation of certain products, especially the ones that sell well. Now for Pokemon, that doesn't really count, but we're not talking about Pokemon today. Let's keep on going here. All right, and there we go. Okay. Anyway, it makes sense that Nintendo wouldn't want to oversaturate the Zelda franchise immediately after Tears of the Kingdom's release, especially since there's talk of a Zelda live-action movie coming soon. So I believe Nintendo wants Tears of the Kingdom to see a second holiday without any big focuses taking away from it, like 3D Mario, a big deal Zelda remake, or even a Hyrule Warriors iteration of Tears of the Kingdom like I mentioned. This also applies to Mario Wonder, giving credence to the fact that we likely won't see a Switch 2 releasing this year or any other big anticipated releases this year, when it comes to Mario at least, because we've already had our extended Mario Universe games as well, like Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Princess Peach Showtime, Luigi's Mansion 2, and of course, what I love the most out of all of them, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Man, I'm so glad that's back. Anyway, so it is really likely that Nintendo focuses more on previous releases this holiday season and squeezes sales of these last few games in the Switch's life cycle. If there were to be 1 or 2 more games for the Switch this year, man, I mean, there might be a bit more than this considering all these rumors that have come out recently, but you know, if I were to just go with stuff that I would bet higher on, I would say it's probably going to be Metroid remakes or Metroid Prime 4 itself, and probably a little Kirby spin-off. I also cannot deny these rumors with the game starring Zelda herself as the main character, so I'll put that in there. So that is the only Zelda franchise release that I see this year, or probably a 2D Zelda. Now, there's confirmation of a Nintendo Direct this June with 2024's second half Switch 1 games. I believe during this time we will get the first whispers and teasers of Metroid Prime 4, or Nintendo at least acknowledging it to bring back awareness. I don't really think Twilight Princess or Wind Waker HD is coming to Switch 1, so the only Zelda thing that I can see is a rumored Princess Zelda game or, like I said, 2D Zelda. I also see a lot of big third-party ports and the possibility of no big Mario games other than Mario Party or Mario Baseball. So stay tuned for my Direct Predictions video for more specifics on this June Direct. Anyway, moving on from this Direct, we also got to think about what's coming after that. So in September or October, this is where we need to see a console reveal, plus a more definitive Metroid Prime 4 trailer. This could be tied in with Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remake announcements if those exist. It would be wise to show very small teasers and whispers of the next 3D Mario at this point as well, which will be the backbone, at least I believe, will be the backbone for Prime 4 and Switch 2 overall. Now, this is where I think things get really interesting considering Zelda. After Tears of the Kingdom's second holiday, it would make sense to tease or announce Hyrule Warriors Imprisoning War sometime a bit later into 2025. Similar to how Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition came out early 2018, less than a year after Switch 1's launch. I think we see something similar here. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was one of the best-selling Warrior games in general by Koei Tecmo, with such short marketing in 2020, so it is really likely that we could see a sequel to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which will be based around the events of Tears of the Kingdom. Anyway, going back to when this game could be announced and then later released, I think we could see the announcement in June or September of 2025, probably releasing in November 2025, or more likely early to middle 2026, especially considering if this rumor of a Breath of the Wild 4K Switch 2 remaster, the Yu King O thing, is coming out in 2025 and is a launch title with the Switch 2. That, like I said, that changes a lot of things. So this is all assuming that the Switch 2 is released early 2025, like all these rumors and reports have been saying. If the Switch 2 releases late 2025, then it could be possible this Hyrule Warriors sequel is actually released on the Switch 1, going earlier to an announcement in the February Direct of 2025, or earlier than that, maybe even late 2024, and then released in June of 2025 or earlier. This and Pokemon Legends ZA will be the final Switch 1 big releases, assuming, like I said, the Switch 2 is released later in 2025, and then Pokemon Legends ZA and Hyrule Warriors sequel will be released early 2025. But it all depends, like literally depending on when the Switch 2 releases is like kind of tippling and tossing when Hyrule Warriors sequel can actually come out. So it's really interesting considering all these things. Considering how successful the Switch 1 is and how Nintendo wants to ride it out for as long as they can, I mean, we can't forget about this whole thing with 13.5 million Switch 1s sold before the end of March 2025. So, you know, a Hyrule Warriors could release earlier this time around instead of being 3 years removed from it, you know, the game that it's based off of, like Breath of the Wild and Age of Calamity. So, I mean, this whole timing with the Switch 2 really, like I said, throws all this stuff up in the air. Regardless of when the Switch 2 releases, here's the ultimate prediction and personally the best outcome for Prime 4 sales to break records for Metroid and the Switch 2 to have a strong start. Release Prime 4 and 3D Mario together on launch day. Some of you might be thinking that this is a horrible idea, and 3D Mario would overshadow the crap out of Prime 4, leading to its downfall. I would argue the opposite. See, Nintendo needs a big title regardless to help the Switch 2 having the biggest sales that it could, so it must be important to understand the power of marketing these games together. So in this marketing move, imagine this, if the gameplay of a new 3D Mario running on a new console blows up across YouTube and all other social media, the awareness and desire for this console will be super freaking high. Imagine opening up YouTube, even as a casual gamer, and seeing gameplay videos, streams, and more of 3D Mario on the Switch 2. The desire and demand would be alive and stronger than ever. But wait, surely buying a new console won't just give a Mario experience. And it won't. There will also be a second action game with aliens, guns, lasers, and space travel. Providing two side-by-side experiences increases an incentive to buy a new console, even allowing casual consumers more than just a Mario game to go along with their new console. Metroid sales have proven over and over again that they lack on their own, but with all the mysterious hype Metroid Prime 4 has among casual consumers that don't really care about it, they can see its majesty with its marketing alongside a spectacular 3D Mario, something everybody knows and wants. Games like Wii Sports sold well on the Wii's launch, even if it was paired up with Zelda Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess did not overshadow Wii Sports, neither did Breath of the Wild overshadow 1-2 Switch. So from a casual's perspective, another new experience on a new console's launch, alongside what everybody knows and wants being Mario, is actually a really good idea, especially giving a more mature experience that has been hyped up for a long time. This must happen. This does have more potential as a 2025 holiday release over a March 2025 release, but either way, these games releasing together, as well as Prime 4 also being cross-gen as Switch 1, will spark the series to a new height. It will be on a casual gamer and hardcore gamer stage, thanks to the marketing and excitement 3D Mario will bring to light up the lights for that stage. Anywho, to wrap up, I do want to say something about the next 3D Zelda. Obviously, it can't release close to a Hyrule Warriors sequel, nor in super close proximity to a 3D Mario in Prime 4, which does make sense, since it's likely we have to wait several years for the next 3D Zelda. I originally thought we could see it as early as mid to late 2026 if a Hyrule Warriors is not released that year. However, with the likely 4K remaster of Breath of the Wild, this makes things all fuzzy and takes chances away from a new 3D Zelda by 2026. You could also argue, regardless of development time, a big new Zelda experience should be available not too long after a new console's release. I also think since Tears of the Kingdom reused many assets from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom has no DLC, the Zelda team could have something cooked up for us faster than we think, also because at the end of the day, it's about how to sell as great and as fast as possible. I have the feeling we'll get a new 3D Zelda by the end of 2027, to be honest. I just hope this Breath of the Wild 4K remaster is released earlier before the end of 2025, leading to a Hyrule Warriors sequel in 2026, and then like I said, hopefully a new 3D Zelda by holiday 2027. And if we have to wait a little bit or there's a delay, then hopefully, please, at least by May 2028. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna sign off. One last thing, I started streaming every Thursday for a Mario Kart Zelda challenge. This challenge gives me punishments to do in Tears of the Kingdom and maybe even Breath of the Wild for any time I get second or lower in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It ends once all cups in each main class, including DLC, are completed. I'll link to it here, as well as my big Zelda Theory videos that do kind of well considering this channel is kind of small, so that's cool. And for anyone who's enjoying Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, I actually made a Paper Mario Theory as well that only lightly spoils a bit of Thousand Year Door. That was fun to make. Also, stay tuned for a possible June Direct predictions video as well. And I also have another Zelda Theory coming in June or July. Links all around and in the description. Thank you all for watching, and peace out. God bless.